Pag-usapan natin to. Anxiety. So, isa sa mga sobrang nagpapahirap sa kalagayan ng tao. It's anxiety. So, being anxious about anything. So, it's more like a depression. But, I think, mas malala when we say anxiety. Let's get help from Google. Let's define anxiety. Ano nga ba anxiety? So, let's go and what is anxiety? Right. Let's see here. Ano sinasabi? So, anxiety is anxiety is an emotion characterized by an unpleasant state of inner turmoil. Ang lalim pa rin. Anxiety meaning. Ito nga. A sense of apprehension, tension, uneasiness, often stemming from anticipation of future threat. So, anxiety is like focusing on a future threat. I would put it that way. Mga bagay na hindi, anticipation, na hindi pa nangyayari, but you anticipate a future threat. Uneasiness. So, there's a tension, there's uneasiness. That's why it's very stressful. No? Normal human reaction to stress. Yun yung naging. So, it's more likely, I would go for anticipation of a future threat. Kasi anxiety boils down to something na hindi pa nangyayari pero pilit na iniisip. I think this is highlighted to one of the movies, yung Inside Out, yung na-introduce sa Inside Out 2, na-introduce si anxiety, kulay orange siya. So when we are younger ones, wala pa si anxiety, but when we come to a point like a teenage life or adulthood, papunta ng adulthood, that is when we exaggerate the anticipation of a future threat. Lalo na kung may na-experience ka na sa buhay na real life stressing situation. So now in anxiety, I learned in, I think, one of the forum na nabasa ko, na napakinggan ko, one of the resource speaker, hindi ko lang maalala yung pinaka-event. The brain cannot function in or cannot dwell into situation or a surging emotion at the same time. Ano ibig sabihin nun? You cannot be happy and be sad at the same time. Hindi pwede yun kasi opposite yun eh. You cannot be excited and bored at the same time. Hindi rin pwede yun. So, meron siyang the human brain cannot dwell in such opposite emotions. No. Unless you have an actual condition that you need to seek for professional help. Na you can be happy and sad at the same time. So, you might need to consult. I don't know. But, I'm not expert doon sa field na yun. Pero, you need to consult. That's for sure. Kasi hindi talaga naman pwede at hindi normal na masaya ka at malungkot at the same time. And that is the same with anxiety. Now, you would think you cannot be happy while having anxiety. Ano nga ba kabaligtaran ng anxiety? I mean, anong opposite part ng anxiety? What is the opposite part of anxiety na hindi kayang sabayan ng brain? Is it happy? Is it joyful? Pwede, yes, but not for sure. Kasi at this moment, masaya ka. And then the next moment, probably, naalala mo yung problema mo. You get to be anxious, pero nakangiti ka pa rin, nakikipagkwentuhan sa kaibigan mo, and so on. So I don't think happiness is the full opposite in terms of emotional surge of anxiety. Well, you can be joyful. Of course, if you're joyful, talagang walang anxiety. But how to battle anxiety? No? When the anxiety attacks, how can we help ourselves? Especially to those who believe in God, how can we help ourselves when there is anxiety? tingnan natin. There is a very powerful verse in the Bible about anxiety. And let's look on that. That's I think sinerge ko na yun. Filipos. Let's use this one. Yeah. Right? This is very powerful. This is very beautiful. Now, let's scroll up a bit. In Filipos 4:6-7, or Philippians 4:6-7. Now again, the brain cannot dwell into two surge of emotions. Hindi niya kaya. So it's either you are sad now and not happy, or happy and not sad right now. So hindi pwedeng. So basahin natin, sabi ni Pablo sa mga taga-Filipos, huwag kayong mabalisa tungkol sa anumang bagay. Anxious, no? Don't be anxious about anything. So sabi niya dito, don't be anxious about anything. Ito. Yan. So huwag kayong mabalisa tungkol sa anumang bagay, no? Do not be anxious about anything. Sa halip, hingin nyo sa Diyos ang lahat ng inyong kailangan sa pamamagitan ng panalangin, pananalangin with thanksgiving. And I think the Bible is very true to its word because it's God's word. And it's also being acknowledged by professional. So ano kabaligtaran ng anxiousness? Being thankful. You cannot be anxious and be thankful at the same time. Ang hirap nun. Well, easier, ano yung sabi nila? It is easy to say, pero pag nandun ka na, mahirap. I can hear some kapatiran sa pananampalataya, they will say, Lord, salamat sa problema. But to be honest, it's hard. No, it's hard. But if you get into the practice of this, kapag nalaman mo na the antidote for anxiousness is being thankful, you will always be thankful kung ano meron ka. Kung nababalisa ka tungkol sa trabaho mo, be thankful you have a work. Kung nababalisa ka kasi wala kang trabaho, be thankful kung may negosyo ka. Kung nababalisa ka sa mangyayari bukas, be thankful buhay ka ngayon. At kung tinitingnan mo ang sarili mo incapable, look at you 10 years ago. Be thankful sino ka na ngayon. There is a lot of things to be thankful. Tumingin ka lang sa paligid mo. Namomroblema ka, that you cannot sleep, be thankful meron kang malambot na kutsyon. Meron kang malambot na kama na pwedeng higaan. Find things that you can be thankful. Find things. No? Nagkasakit ako, salamat, buhay pa ako. No? Nagkaroon ako ng problems, nawalan ako ng pera, salamat, di ako napahamak. Find the thankfulness so that you can battle anxiety. That's the antidote for anxiety. It's very clear in the Bible. Huwag ka mabalisa. So, parang hindi ka mabalisa, but sa halip, hingin mo sa Diyos yan. With thanksgiving. Pamamagitan panalangin, may pasasalamat. That's why it's important to be thankful every day. To be thankful every moment. It's very important. And ano mangyari? The peace from God, kapayapaan ng Diyos, na hindi kayang maunawaan ng tao, ang siya mag-iingat sa inyong puso at pag-iisip dahil sa inyong pakikipag-isa kay Cristo. See? Ang kapayapaan na hindi kayang maunawaan ng tao, what is that? What is that? When you start being prayerful in thanksgiving, ang kapayapaan ng Diyos na hindi kayang maunawaan ng tao, ang mag-iingat sa iyo. It's a peace that is coming from God na hindi kaya maunawaan ng tao. Ano pa bang hahanapin mo if you have the peace from God? So if you want to battle anxiety, if you want to battle depression, if you want to battle things na nagpapagulo sa'yo, be thankful to the Lord. Yun yung hanapin mo. Yung mga bagay na pagpapasalamat mo. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, dahil sa ganito. Maraming salamat, Panginoon, dahil sa ganoon. That's how you battle anxiety. Pag-usapan natin yun.